Today I'm going to be breaking down the cost of our wedding and then also giving you guys some tips and tricks on how you can save more money on yours. As always, I just want to preface this by saying not every budget is the same, and while this was budget friendly to us, it may not be to you. This is just my opinion. I always like to preface my videos with that. So I'm just going to break down all the things we did, all the costs, and then give you guys 5 tips on how you can do the same. I have some notes here on my phone, so I'm going to just kind of run down exactly how much we paid for everything, and I'm also going to share all of our vendors because our vendors were phenomenal. Would recommend them 10 times over. Amazing vendors. So first up, our venue was $4,200. That was the biggest purchase we had, and that was at Blackbird Farms in Columbus Grove, Ohio. This was a little farther away from our house. It was about an hour and a half, but I had a vision that I wanted, and right when Sage and I went and visited this venue, they were so welcoming, they were so sweet, and we just felt like it was the perfect place for our day. Our next biggest cost was photography, and if you guys don't know, I'm a wedding photographer, so this was really important to me. We worked with Whitney K Photos. I love Whitney. I love her. I would recommend her 10 times over. I recommend her to all my brides that I can't work with. I always refer them to Whitney. She is fantastic. She's, I think she's 22. She's young. She shoots with her fiance. And our experience with them was just absolutely amazing. If you don't book me, book her. That's all I have to say. The next highest cost was our video. And so our video we paid $1,400, but then this isn't factored into the cost, but we actually went back and paid them a little more to stay longer. Video ended up being about $1,600 or $1,700. We worked with 3-cord films. I'm working some weddings with them next season. I'm so excited. They were, again, phenomenal to work with. I would recommend them to everybody. And I'll also link all of our vendors below, just so that you guys have them. Okay, so the next cost we had was our food. If you follow me on TikTok, one of my most viral videos is actually about our food, and that was because we had food trucks. Our experience with food trucks was fantastic. We did have a bit of a debacle. One of the trucks didn't show up for like an hour. Our wedding planner, Aspen, was fantastic. She took care of everything, but definitely be cautious working with food trucks. Definitely work with people that have done weddings before, just so you have clear communication. I loved it. The food was great. It ended up being, I think, like $8 or $9 per plate. We had 2 trucks, and we fed 135-ish guests and all of our vendors. I could do a whole video about food trucks, but I really don't have that much to say other than we had 2 of them. We fed a little under 140 people, and it was about $1,400 once it was all said and done. Okay, so another big topic that everyone asked me about is my wedding dress. It's actually a really funny story. I'll give you the short version, but basically I saw my dress on Instagram at this bridal store, and I was like, yes, this is my dress 100%. So I went, tried it on, felt so happy with it, but it was $2,000, and that just, we paid for a lot of our wedding ourselves, and so it just didn't fit in the budget for us. And Sage was so sweet. He was like, yes, go get that dress, like, if that's the one you love, blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't do it. So I prayed about it. I was like, Lord, I pray that you either find a dress similar, one I like better, that's, you know, something I can afford, or that I can find this dress used cheaper. So I looked all over for dresses. Finally, I looked on Facebook Marketplace, and I only typed in the designer of the dress. So it's the Galatia, I think that's how you say it. It's by Willoughby by Waters, and I found it on Facebook Marketplace. The only dress by that designer was the one that I wanted in my size, and it was only $800. So that was a huge blessing. The gal shipped it to me from Wisconsin. I tried it on and it fit perfectly. So that was fantastic. I was so happy. So many people have complimented my dress. I love my dress. It's like my baby. I never want to get rid of it. So my dress was $800, and it was originally $2,000, and I loved it. It was perfect. Our rings were $500, and this was or it might have been $600 total. That was just for our wedding bands. It wasn't for my engagement ring. My ring, I think, was like $300, and Sage's was like $250 or something like that. Next we have our planner. We worked with Aspen Jean Planning. Aspen was fantastic. I thought I could do it all myself, but if I could take one thing away, I would say definitely get a planner if it's in your budget, especially because we were dealing with a lot of the COVID regulations and stuff like that. So she helped us immensely, made sure everything was going good. She found us a ton of our vendors, and she actually probably saved us more money than we paid her. So I would recommend having a planner, but again, it's not in everybody's budget. Our cake was $250. We just got a little 2-tiered cake, and then we actually had a big cake in the back that was just a sheet cake that we actually cut and served to our guests. Our flowers were about $600, and my aunt did all of our florals, which was a huge blessing. She did them all at cost. So my bouquet, boutonnieres, all of our greenery and stuff like that, my aunt did. I was going to go to Trader Joe's and just pick up bouquets like 2 days before our wedding because I didn't really care about the florals. No disrespect to florists. They do fantastic work. But I just didn't really care. But she said that she would do it for us, and it worked out beautifully. Sage's suit was $400, self-explanatory. Our DJ was $600, and it was actually Sage's uncle. Hair and makeup for me ended up being $150, and my bridesmaids paid for that themselves if they wanted to do it. Not everyone did it. Some people did, and if they wanted to, they paid for it. Our alcohol was $700, and we had beer, wine, and White Claw. Decor totaled out to be $400 or $500, but we actually got almost all of that back because I ended up selling our arch, our votives, our like seating chart, everything like that. We ended up kind of reselling, so it was like $500, but I definitely recommend trying to resell all of your decor because people are always looking for stuff. Our little appetizers were like chips, granola bars, stuff like that, just because everything had to be individually wrapped, and that was $100. Invites were $70, and our hotels were $300. That brings a grand total to just about $15,000. And as you can see, half or maybe over half of our cost was really just 3 things. Our photo, video, and our venue ended up being the biggest cost, and those totaled out to be just over $8,000 just for those 3. As you can see, those were my splurge areas, and that is going to lead me over to our tips. So I have 5 tips here, and these are just things that I've noticed in my experience with weddings, things that I noticed with our wedding, stuff like that where you can really save money, and they might be some things that you don't think about. But my number 1 tip, I tell this to all of my brides that I work with, is to pick 3 or 2 or 4, however many you can do, splurge areas. Now your splurge area is something that you're willing to go a little bit over budget on, and then you're able to cut costs in other areas to make it happen. So like I said, that was our venue, photo, and video for me. Some people it's your dress, some people it's the floral. They want these big beautiful floral arrangements. You know, it's different for everybody. But right when you start wedding planning, it's really helpful to define those areas so then you can look for people within your budget. Number 2 is to lower your guest count. This seems self-explanatory, but so much of your wedding is really determined on how many people you have there, your venue, your food, your cake. All of that is really determined by your guest count. Number 3 is to hire vendors for a shorter period of time. Like I said, I'm a wedding photographer, and a lot of times people can't afford your biggest and best package, but they really don't need it. I think a lot of vendors will try to make you think that you need this big 10 hours of coverage, and you know, you need the engagement session, and you need coverage all the way to the end of the wedding and stuff like that, and you don't. I always recommend to people to hire a really talented photographer for only 6 hours versus hiring someone that maybe hasn't done many weddings and isn't that experienced for like 10 hours. Granted, I once was the inexperienced photographer, and I totally respect people that are trying to get better, but I think I know the quality of images I delivered when I wasn't super experienced, and the quality of images I deliver now is just so vastly different. And I think if you're really looking for some quality pictures of your day, you should go with someone that has the experience, maybe is a little pricier, and then just hire them for a shorter amount of time. Photographers and videographers are really good at what they do. They can fake a lot of the shots, so if you can't have someone there for your getting ready, you can still have someone there for like you putting your lipstick on and you know, your girls popping a champagne and stuff like that. You just have to let them know that that's what you want, and they can make it happen. Number 4 is to thrift a lot of your decor. Check Facebook Marketplace, check Goodwill, check the Dollar Tree. We got our gold chargers actually from our planner, but they had them over at the Dollar Tree for $1 each, and like you can't beat $1 each. You can honestly probably resell them for $1 each, and then it's free. Same with our seating chart. My maid of honor actually found that like on Facebook Marketplace for free, and then we just wrote on it with a Sharpie pen. Same with any of your printed things. I did all of our printed stuff on Canva, and then one of my bridesmaids actually did our invites on Illustrator. She's a graphic designer, so she was able to do those for free. And number 5 is don't be afraid to go an untraditional route. I feel like especially with COVID right now, so many people are just completely like blowing wedding traditions out of the water, and I am here for it. Because like, you can go elope with 10 family members in some epic location, and you can do it for like $5,000. Or maybe you want to get married on a weekday. There are tons of things that you can do to kind of break wedding traditions that will save you a lot of money, and I'm just going to list a few. So you can buy your wedding dress and your bridesmaids dresses online. By going to a wedding boutique or a bridesmaid store or something like that, the dresses are just going to be more expensive. I think a lot of times now people are just giving their bridesmaids like a color and then they're like, all right, go find the dress wherever you want. And that's a good way to save them money too. Another thing that I've seen that I love, I want to shoot a wedding, so if you're doing a wedding like this, please hire me, is brunch or lunch weddings. These are usually way cheaper because you only have your guests there from like 11 to like 4. And oftentimes venue spaces will rent those times out for cheaper because like maybe it's happening on a Sunday morning and they don't have anything going on. I feel like these are so cute. You could do the donut wall, you could have mimosas. I feel like this is such a fun, untraditional type of wedding that I want to be a part of. Another one is to just elope. I feel like that's happening so much more now. You can also get married during the off season or during the week. By having your wedding in like December, February, March, or having your wedding on like a Thursday or a Monday, you can definitely get a cheaper rate for your venue, and a lot of your other vendors are going to do cheaper rates too because they're probably not booked that day. Plus, if you're doing something like a destination wedding, people travel anyway, so they're going to have to take time off work, so doing it on a Monday wouldn't be that big of a deal. That is all of the tips I have. I hope it was helpful to somebody. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And then also if you have any more like wedding video ideas, I'd love to do more and just help you plan your big day. Also, please like this video, toss me a comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.